Have you ever had a gut feeling about something? Or felt those butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous? Well, it turns out that's not just a cute saying. We're about to dive into the incredible microscopic world that lives inside you and uncover the secrets of this powerful two-way street we call the gut-brain axis.
You know, this isn't some new age idea. Way back, over 2,000 years ago, the Greek physician Hippocrates said it plain and simple. All disease begins in the gut. It was a wild idea back then, and it's something that modern science is only now realizing is, well, astonishingly accurate.
So that's the big question, right? How? How can your digestive system actually talk to your brain? How can what's happening in your gut influence your mood, shape your thoughts, and maybe even play a role in your long-term health? Let's break it down. So here's our game plan for this journey. First, we're going to dig into the history of that gut feeling. Then I'll introduce you to trillions of friends you didn't even know you had. We'll decode their secret communication network, look at the surprising links to disease, and finally explore how we might actually be able to hack this system for our own good.
All right, so to really get what a big deal this is, we've got to go back in time. It turns out the clues that our gut and brain are connected have been hiding in plain sight for centuries. One of the first huge clues actually came from a totally bizarre accident. Back in the 1820s, a fur trader named Alexis St. Martin got shot, and it left him with a permanent hole in his stomach. Wild, right? But his doctor, William Beaumont, saw a unique opportunity. He could literally watch digestion happening in real time. And he saw that St. Martin's emotions, like when he got angry, could instantly stop digestion in its tracks. This incredible observation really paved the way for Ivan Pavlov and his famous dogs, which scientifically proved that the brain and gut are deeply, deeply intertwined. So for a long time, science was focused on this direct highway of nerves. But there was a massive piece of the puzzle missing. The nerves alone just couldn't explain everything. There had to be something else in the middle, some kind of translator sending messages back and forth. And it turns out that missing piece, well, it wasn't even human. The secret translators are the trillions of tiny microorganisms living inside our gut, our microbiota. So what exactly is the human microbiota? Just think of it like a massive, bustling city of bacteria, viruses, and fungi all living inside you. And they aren't just hanging out. We now know they are so important to our health that they basically function like a brand new organ we just discovered.
Okay, get ready for this, because the numbers here are just mind-blowing. For every single one of your human cells, there are about 1.3 microbial cells living in you. Just let that sink in for a second. You are, quite literally, more microbe than you are human.
And if you thought that was wild, just look at the genetics. Over 99% of the unique genes in your body don't come from your parents. They're microbial. What that means is our microbes give us a whole second genome, one that's way bigger and more flexible than our own.
So we've got this massive microbial community inside us. But how in the world do they whisper secrets to our brain? Let's pull back the curtain on their communication network.
They use at least 4 major channels. First, you've got the vagus nerve, which acts like a direct data superhighway from the gut straight to the brain. Second, they're constantly training our immune cells, which then act like messengers, traveling all over the body carrying information. Third, they control the supply of key ingredients needed to make feel-good brain chemicals, like serotonin. And finally, they pump out their own chemical signals that get into our blood and can directly influence how the brain works.
So how do we know this is true? Well, let me introduce you to the germ-free mouse. These mice are raised in a completely sterile bubble, no microbes at all. And they are a stunning case study. Compared to a regular mouse, their brains are just different. Key immune cells in their brains are immature. The protective barrier around their brain is leaky, and the fatty coating on their nerves is thinner. The result? These mice show much more anxiety-like behavior, proving that a healthy microbiome is absolutely essential for a normal, healthy brain. You know, this goes way beyond just some cool biology. This has massive implications for our health. Because if a balanced microbiome is so crucial for a healthy brain, what happens when that balance gets thrown off? A messed up gut is now being linked to an absolutely astonishing range of brain conditions. We're seeing powerful connections to anxiety and depression, and even to serious neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. This is not a fringe idea anymore. The gut is one of the biggest new frontiers for understanding and maybe even treating brain disorders.
So, if an unhealthy gut can contribute to these problems, could a healthy gut be part of the solution? This is where the science gets really exciting. we're now figuring out ways to deliberately hack our own microbiomes for better brain health.
First up, you have prebiotics. Now, these aren't the live bacteria themselves. The easiest way to think about them is like fertilizer for your internal garden. They're the foods, like certain fibers, that your good microbes absolutely love to eat, which helps them grow strong and thrive.
Then, of course, you've got probiotics, the live beneficial bacteria themselves. And this has led to a revolutionary new idea, psychobiotics. These are specific types of probiotics that are chosen because they seem to have a direct positive effect on our mental health. It's an incredible concept. And for a total system reboot, there's the fecal microbiota transplant, or FMT. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a way to transfer the entire gut community from a healthy person to a sick person. It's already shown incredible success for certain infections, and now scientists are looking at it for all sorts of other conditions.
When you put all of these approaches together, prebiotics, psychobiotics, FMT, it really points to a radical new way of thinking in medicine. Instead of only treating the brain with drugs that target the brain, we might be able to treat the brain by healing the gut. This is a potential revolution in how we approach mental and neurological health.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty profound question. We all like to think of ourselves as individuals, right? That we're in the driver's seat, making our own choices. But if these trillions of tiny passengers inside us can influence our moods, our behaviors, and maybe even our thoughts, you have to stop and ask, who is really in control here?